Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 10 of our My Team journey with Phoenix Motorsport. Now in the last one, the Hungarian Grand Prix, it was pretty diabolical, let's be honest. Probably the shortest race episode I have done since the first episode. And let's just forget about what happened that weekend and let's focus on the next one. So let's get straight into this. We got like some sort of media to answer questions to, which we've done, and then just before the season break we did some activities. I wanted to like try and find activity where it would be suited for the team, which was a deal. And there's the current season so far, 3 DNFs, 3 of them were crashed out. We got some good points in the highest place in 6th place in Britain so far, which is our best race, I won't lie. And I did think about doing an upgrade just before the summer break, but I was really torn. I was really trying to decide whether to or not, because there are some season upgrades, there are some regulation changes coming in for the next season. But we did do event 1 eventually, which is the drag, because we're going to need it for Monza, and hoping it doesn't fail on us. As for the time being, I wanted to upgrade the facility, which we do, to hopefully that rear-wing failure doesn't happen, and the same thing for the power train, so the build time as well, because it is vital that we have that, because we really need those upgrades going on to the car as soon as possible. But at the same time, I know it keeps going on about like saving a bit of resources for like the next season, but I've got to think about teammate as well. I'm still trying to decide whether I want Nico Hulkenberg or someone else, and the specs do go on, thankfully, which is pretty handy to say the least, and some of our upgrades as well, which means we were able to jump up on the performance charts, thankfully, but we were still plumb last according to the whole thing. And as you can see here, there are next year's regulation changes. I'm not sure what they're going to be, but this is why I'm thinking I might save a bit of like resource points so that we can make the most of the adaptations and apply for brand new ones. And we did all the practice sessions, and I must be honest, I do love Belgium. I love the track. It is fast and flowing, but at the same time the track limit warnings are a nightmare to say the least, which we'll showcase later. And thankfully we got some resource points to discounts from all these like activities we've done, which is highly useful to say the least. So let's now, without further ado, I'm waffling away on this part here. Let's get straight into qualifying once we've all leveled up, to say the least. So we're now in qualifying, and the setup I went for a slightly faster car in a straight line to be a bit draggy, because I want this car fast in the straights because the AI are blisteringly quick in the straights recently. So I haven't got high hopes for this. So as we go into like Prix here, which is a fast moving corner and a track limit warning. That was our first run, which was not a good at all. This is our second run here, and we ran wide, and we get another violation. That is terrific. So we pop back into the pits, and I wanted to get a fresh set of rubber on because we still not set a fast time yet, which is crucial if we want to get through to the first qualifying, to say the least. So without further ado, we head back out on track, and we do a nice lap here, coming up to the start finish line. And we do a 147 flat, which is good enough for P8. And that puts us through into the first qualifying. As for PS3, well, it's inevitable that he's out. So that's a bit annoying. And here's our first run for Q2. As the clouds started coming over, the temperature dropped down a tiny bit. And we come across the line towards here. And it's a 147.4. 4 tenths down from our fastest time in the first session. Which is not terrible, but we could do a lot more, to say the least. And as the time progressed, all the other drivers improved, which leaves us 10th at the time of stationary. So we go out again, and I really wanted this to be a perfect lap to get us through into Q3, because it's vital that we do so. And we started to improve our time just drastically. The Rouge is such a fast corner. It's a lovely piece of track. It's like the full lap of this lap. We started closing out. We started like improving corner by corner of this session, which is vital to say the least. And we're coming across the line. We're like a second up, coming up to this final stretch, up to the bus stop chicane. Then we'll flick the left, flick the right and left. Coming up to the start finish line, 1.4 up on our previous time. And we come across the line, it's a 1:45.9. And that puts us third. The fastest time we've ever done this entire session. I was very pleased with that. And I was hoping we could do better for the next qualifying session, which we do end up doing so, which is vital. Because I want to make sure we get a good grid position for the start of this Grand Prix. So this is our first flying lap for qualifying 3, and I was feeling very confident for this. How is that a track limit violation? Oh my god! So we go out. So we did go back out there, and we did a time of a 1:50.3, which is woeful. So we did another run, which is like nearly 3 seconds up. And it's a 1:47.4, just under half a second. It's not bad, but I felt that there was more to offer from the car, so I went out for one more time because I genuinely believe that we can get ourselves higher on the grid. And we're already up by nearly half a tenth, and we are literally just got on there. We did lose a bit of time off of the turn 1. And we just lose a bit of time on the straight, but a bit funny in the on a Rouge. And then we come into Radion around these corners here. I was very determined. 2 tenths, 4 tenths up, and this is vital. I'm sensing if we can really get a good spot on this race, nearly 7 tenths up. And we're coming into Radion and said, "Oh no, God!" I've bottled it. I've absolutely bottled it.
The grid.
Oh my god. We were on for a really good lap there.
Wrapped up. We now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow.
I don't know where we would be,
no doubt,
but I imagine we might have been somewhere, maybe P6, P5, realistically. That would have been a good qualifying result. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Absolutely annoying. But at least it's not the Grand Prix, to say the least. Because that would have been a different story.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of them to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Carlos Sainz, and Norris, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Phoenix, and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Joe, Vettel, Ricciardo, Lance Stroll, and Alex Albon, Latifi, Tsunoda, Bottas, and Oscar Piastri. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So Piastri's now starting last, which is not a bad way to go, considering this is a power track, and opportunities for overtake is highly likely. But again, we had this like glitch of the Parc Fermé. I don't think it's been patched. I haven't been on the game for a while at the time of editing this video. And I am going to go back on there at some point to do the Dutch Grand Prix. which is a very old school track, and I really like it. Fast and flowing, to say the least. So we did make a few adjustments on the toe and some other bits with the suspension and the aerodynamics.
Here we
Because
go then. The formation lap
I
is
was a bit
underway. And the track
scared
temperature
about
looks
what
warm.
happened at Puon, where I just got on that curb and just lost the rear and yeah, ended up with the front wing damage and ruined our qualifying. So we are starting 9th thanks to penalties, which puts us on the clean side of the track, I believe. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't put on. Oh wait, it does put on us the clean side of the track. What am I talking about? Oh boy, this clean side, dirty side, all this stuff here. But yeah, that's where we're starting for this Grand Prix, which is better than starting 10th, to say the least. So, without further ado, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and the Belgium Grand Prix is now underway. We get ourselves a decent start, trying to get alongside Alonso, but the second phase we just bottled it a little bit. But we go dive on the inside, try and get Sainz. Make contact there between Norris has just got ahead, side by side with Sainz here, coming up towards Eau Rouge. We're trying to make the most of it, and we don't quite do it. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead, side by side in Eau Rouge. Does he take the lead? Yes, he does. Followed by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Charles Leclerc loses out to Lewis Hamilton. This is a start of the Grand Prix. George Russell's closing in behind him. Max Verstappen goes the outside of this turn here. Does it quite make it stick? No. Charles Leclerc stays ahead just about. Max Verstappen will have to follow suit in 3rd place. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Grand Prix. George Russell closing in on Max Verstappen there. Where do we end up? I can't quite remember. We're still behind not Perez. We are still behind Sainz, which is inevitable to say the least, considering that pace in the Ferrari is super quick in the straight line. And we got Perez just behind us. Obviously, cut onto this corner where we crashed out in qualifying, which is not a good place to be, let's be honest. So we come on to the end of the first lap, into the bus stop, and we are literally not falling away from the Ferraris just yet, which is a bit surprising, I must say. Which is nice. We can finally fight for a bit. I'm not going to get ahead of myself because we've got a long way to go in this Grand Prix. And we pulled away from Perez, just about. We are staying closer to Sainz. And this lead leaders of Mercedes is Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc's Ferrari, and Max Verstappen's Red Bull. Top 3, top 4, top 5, top 6. We are literally bunched up together. Just under, what, I think just under 5 seconds between the top 7 or the top 8 maybe. It's a bit hard to tell. I didn't check the time. I didn't check the oh, I can't remember what the word is, but the telemetry times between the top 8, to say the least, because, well, I wasn't thinking at the time. There's a nice shot going up to Eau Rouge. Do we get DRS on Sainz here? Yes, we do. We start pulling away from Perez slightly with the assistance of ERS. Just correct me, I didn't use ERS at the time. And here's a nice shot of the leaders and us keeping pace with the leaders. I must be honest, it feels nice fighting with them, even though we are the worst car, to say the least. And here's Guan Yu Zhou joining the inside. Oh, wow! He went straight into the back of Sebastian Vettel, I believe. And unsurprisingly, the next lap it's for a new front wing. The end plates come off. He loses downforce from that, so he rejoins plumb last in this Grand Prix. That's a shame for him. We go around on the outside of this corner here. We don't quite make it. We don't quite do it. They brake so early there. They brake so early, making me think they're gonna think I'm gonna go around in the back of it. Max Verstappen gets alongside Lewis Hamilton. Does he make a stick? Yes, he just gets in front of him. Does he get ahead of him? They're side by side still. Coming down towards this turn here. Max Verstappen just gets ahead. He gets ahead of Lewis Hamilton. But Lewis Hamilton lost the lead to Leclerc. I don't know how that happened. That just all of a sudden happened. I don't know. I didn't catch the replay of it in time where he lost the lead. But Max Verstappen's up to P2 and chasing down Charles Leclerc, his rival in real life. And they're both fighting each other for the championship for this season in this alternate universe. There's quite a bit of fighting going on here. Perez starting to close in on us. If we go up to Eau Rouge, oh my god, it's very painful going up there when you haven't got a car that's got straight line speed potential. As Perez goes on the outside, he gets DRS, probably uses his battery to get ahead of us. And by that point, he just pulled away ever so slightly. As you can see, the leaders are now coming into the pits. Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and I think Lewis Hamilton came into the pits as well, by the looks of it. Let's see the boys getting to work with their pit crew and everything. Lewis Hamilton does pit. They're all going into hard tyres. Hard tyres. So that'll see them to the end of the Grand Prix. We're going to start pushing to see if we can try and jump them and try and hope for good points and everything. But we just don't have the straight line speed. We go wide there, and our tyres are starting to drop off a bit. So we follow the leaders into the pits, and we ourselves go onto the hard tyres, as do the other drivers do. I thought about extending it and going on the softs, but the softs will just deteriorate. So as you can see, Norris gets ahead of George Russell as we make our pit stop. Nicely done for the McLaren team, even though they ghosted him. How mean.
No more scheduled pit stops, let's go.
Yeah, no more scheduled pit stops unless we crash out. So our teammate is now in as well. Where does he join? I don't have a clue. Charles Leclerc is leading this Belgian Grand Prix, just ahead of Max Verstappen, who is closing in on the Monegasque, with Lewis Hamilton right behind him, to say the least. No, we got a DRS failure.
Okay, there's a fault with the DRS. You will not be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out for now.
Well, that's inevitable. But at the same time, it won't matter too much because we're not near enough to the drivers ahead, to say the least. So the DRS will be fixed in time. As we see the leaders juggling out with each other, Lewis Hamilton just waiting in the wings. He just wasn't quite fast enough to catch up to them by the looks of it. Just taking it easy through that corner, avoiding that curve there. I do not want to go through the phase where I went through there again. As you see, Sergio Perez is pulled alongside. Oh no! Oh no! Engine failure by the looks of it, and he's retired from the Grand Prix. The winner from last time out, and he's retired. Oh, dearie me. That's not good for Red Bull at all. But that's a free position for us though. As you see, Max Verstappen does take the lead of the Grand Prix. He's ahead of Charles Leclerc. I don't know how that happened, but he's effectively now in the lead. And is he going to come up towards the... Yep, no, he's not quite far on the edge. It is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is just leading ahead. We are closing in on Norris, but we don't have much time. As the top three are like so close to each other. Max Verstappen is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Is Charles Leclerc going to do the last minute lunge? No, he doesn't. He's too far back. Max Verstappen comes out of the final quarter from the bus stop chicane to win the Belgian Grand Prix for Red Bull. Nice drive from him, picking off the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and he'll be firmly in the championship hunt as well. As for us, we're going to come through and finish 7th, which is our good result. Oh boy, it could have been much more, but I'll happily take it.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So Max Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix. I can't remember how many times he's won this season. I need to have another look at some point to see where he is at. So yeah, and Ferrari's just finishing 2nd, and the Mercedes finishing 3rd. It's a good result for Mercedes, to say the least. Lewis Hamilton, I think he's yet to win the Grand Prix this season. Almost like real life, which is pretty scary, to say the least. And that that will put a firm championship fight between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, to say the least. Maybe Carlos Sainz could get involved. He's won a race or two this year. Maybe Perez could. I don't know. I can't remember the driver standings at first, but yeah, that was the Grand Prix. We do beat our rival, which is nice to see. As a Piastri, well, he was just nowhere once again. I am looking to change teammates for next season, but in terms of who to go for, I'm still saying like earlier, I'm still debating whether to go for Nico Hulkenberg or someone else that might fit into our category. But I don't know what kind of demands they will want spec-wise, and where they will want, and when they will finish. Oh, so much to think about for next season. Oh boy. Oh boy. But yeah, that's the Grand Prix. It was pretty entertaining, to say the least. As for us though, we could only salvage 7th. It would have been 8th if it weren't for Perez retiring. We could have got ahead of Ferrari. If only we could just add that extra bit of power to like salvage, to like at least fight for something. I might look at changing engine suppliers for next year, because while the Renault engine sounds nice, it's not very powerful as where we are in the performance charts. Oh, Perez does get ahead of us slightly. Wow, that's pretty close there between the two of us, but we did manage to hold off Perez just about. Shame for him. But yeah, we go to the Dutch Grand Prix, which is the next Grand Prix, which I'm gonna start recording at some point, maybe tomorrow, at the time of this voice record, at the time of getting this video out. But yeah, that was the Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching, and if you do enjoy seeing this content, please leave a like, also subscribe for more if you wish to. That would mean a lot and everything. And I also am on Twitch, so if you want to click the link below. All my links down in the description will be there. Oh yeah, and that part, I don't know what happened there. That's just a bit of a random moment. I must have got a bit distracted by something, to to say the least. Maybe, yeah. So things to consider about for next year: engine, teammate, and I might change up the calendar a bit for the next season. But my boy, we got a huge fight between between Verstappen and Leclerc, and it all comes down to Abu Dhabi, hopefully. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and again, leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.